The real estate industry is the world's single largest contributor to climate change. At Fifth Wall, we're on a mission to help the industry eradicate its carbon emissions and build to zero.
Parag, well, thank you so much for joining. Where are you coming in from?
Great to see you, Brendan. I am in Singapore, where it's late in the evening, but I'm used to this.
Nice. Maybe can we just start with, you and your background and kind of the arc of your career?
Sure. So I'm Parag Khanna, founder and managing partner of FutureMap. We are a data-driven scenario building advisory firm headquartered here in Singapore, but have people everywhere. Half our work is government, half is corporate. We do a lot of long-term strategic planning, could be economic master planning, investment promotion. So I'm an academic, I'm a traveler, started out as a backpacker, now more of a business traveler, but have a lot of adventures under my belt across more than 150 countries. Tragic as it is, I served in Iraq and Afghanistan, working with special operations forces. So it was a real highlight for me, sort of as an honor, as an experience. But obviously these days I'm, looking back at it, with mixed emotions. There's one thread in all of my work. It is geography. And my new book that's just coming out is called Move. And it's really about the future of human geography, which is literally the distribution of the human species around the world. And it's something that we take for granted too much and don't understand just how much more mobile we are going to be in the future.
What was the genesis of that passion for geography and for climate and kind of the intersections between the two?
Oh, great question. So for me, actually, it kind of starts like 32 years ago, because that was when the Berlin Wall fell down. So like you, I grew up in the tri-state area. So we, turned on the television, November 9th, 1989, the Berlin Wall fell. I was 12 years old. And as it happens, my dad had some experience in Germany in the 60s as a business trainee coming out of India. The first country he went to outside of India in his life was actually Germany, of all places. So it's kind of in our family. And he had been to Berlin, East and West Berlin, when the wall was up. So we took an early Christmas holiday that year. And, family got on a plane, flew to Frankfurt, drove to Berlin. I sat on top of the Berlin Wall. I even hacked away at the Berlin Wall myself and brought back little Ziploc bags of wall pieces to hand out to the 8th grade. So my big geopolitical awakening was then, and I've never looked back. I mean, literally everything I've done in my life in some way derives from that moment when I was 12 years old. The climate angle is obviously more subtle and a slow fuse in the same way that it is for all of us, because I've written about infrastructure and political geography of borders, but I wanted to, in any case, do a book about human geography that kind of coincides with two big trends. The first is actually just demographic, the fact that the world population is actually reaching a plateau in the next 10 to 15 years. And so the demographic plateau is going to have a big impact on economics and where people go in order to be in growing economies. The winners and losers of the future societies will be those that have people, obviously, as opposed to those that are aging and dying. But where are you going to go? Well, climate is going to be a huge factor in that. And so I began to look kind of at every region of the world, at the microclimates in a way, the livable and the unlivable places, and factor that in to the forecast around where people will live in the year 2030, 2040, and 2050. So Brendan, to put it simply, I set out to answer this one question: where will you live in the year 2050? And to answer that question, you can't not take into account climate change, demographics, economics, political upheaval, labor automation, and all of these other things. So the conclusion I came to basically is that we are going to become a nomadic species again, and political unrest, everything from political unrest to climate change is going to make us more nomadic, and we need to get used to a nomadic future with a smaller world population. So obviously that has enormous implications for everything from economics, real estate, and so forth.